Welcome once again to Action Sports World, and we're heading all the way down to New Zealand first this week to bring you highlights of the halfpipe at the Burton High Fives. After which, the latest round of the PKRA World Tour takes us to Dakhla in Morocco in the company of the world's best kiteboard pro riders. And finally, Lax in Switzerland is the venue for the slopestyle snowboard at the European Open.
Hello everybody, we're at the Burton High Fives presented by Mini here at beautiful Cardrona Ski Resort in New Zealand. My name is Tom Monterosso. To my left is Henry Jackson. Henry, it's been an amazing week. We had slopestyle finals yesterday, we're at pipe finals today. However, the High Fives is not just about what happens on the hill, is it?
No, that's right, T-Bird. We've got $70,000 to give out to the team element of the Burton High Fives presented by Mini. 10 riders in 6 teams. The team captains were chosen, local New Zealand riders. The guys and girls have been doing all kind of activities, and they're going to split that prize money for the best teams. Now, how do you pick the best riders in the world to go in your team? Well, we've got a little piece just about that. Let's go check it out.
What's up, everybody? Ben Ferguson here. We're in beautiful Wanaka, New Zealand for the Burton High Fives. The event is awesome. Scenery is amazing. Snowboarding's amazing. There's amazing people here, and it's going to be a rad contest. This year, it's all about the team. Big money goes to the winning team. Yesterday, our teams got picked. We all got drafted, kind of like a fantasy football draft. Each team captain had a certain amount of money they could pay for the rider. We were getting auctioned off. It was pretty wild. I went up for the big bucks. I'm trying to brag, but you know, got to get it out there somehow. That was a really cool thing we got to do yesterday, and then we got to fly around in a helicopter and check out this awesome jet boat and a dune buggy and just have a good time with a bunch of rad dudes and ladies. Today, all the riders got to participate in a mini relay race. Pretty crazy, don't really know what's going on. But I think you have to pass off a snowboard to the next car, do a lap, get blindfolded, hit these berms, puddles, mayhem. And I actually missed my turn, so I'm a little bit bummed, kind of jealous. Looked really fun. I think everybody had a lot of fun.
All right, so that was Ben Ferguson explaining how the teams were picked, and they're fighting for $70,000 prize money. So that's big bucks for the team. So, T-Bird, that's what went on down the hill. But we're midway through the contest. What went on up here?
We're going to take a look at the highlights of what went down yesterday up here on the slopestyle course. Starting things off, New Zealand local Christy Pryor setting the tone for the women, coming in 3rd place with an incredibly smooth and stylish run.
So stylish indeed. And in 2nd place was young Japanese rider Miyabi Onitsuka. Miyabi rode very, very solid, very stylish, and you know, she's what, 14 years old? We've got big things to expect from this young Japanese rider.
And then, of course, coming in first, surprise, surprise, American powerhouse Jamie Anderson, the most dominant competitive snowboarder in the history of our sport. It was an unbelievable showing from Jamie, and she absolutely earned her win and established her dominance in snowboarding.
And here we go into the guys. In 3rd place was Yuki Kadono from Japan. He put down an incredible run, included frontside 9, cab 12, and a backside 10 to finish things off. That was a great run from the young Japanese rider. In 2nd place was Darcy Sharp, probably the strongest rider on the rails, and a great showing from the young Canadian rider. Great for him to come all the way down to New Zealand and podium. It was a great run, especially on the rails, and he put down solid kicker tricks as well, mixing up the grabs. There were double grabs, triple grabs in there, and that was good enough for 2nd place.
And then in 1st place, of course, it was Emil Andre Olsletten coming out of Norway, finally getting that first big win of his career on his first run. His rail line was incredible, his jump line even better. Cab 1080, switch backside 12, and then a front side double rodeo. So Emil dominating the men's side. Of course, the big surprise, Mark McMorris not in the top 3.
That's right, T-Bird, and if we bring that back into the team element a little bit, you know, Mark McMorris went for $45,000 in that fantasy draft, and he only was good enough for 9th place, and that, you know, it's a shame for Mark, because normally he's a solid bet for the podium, but hey, it's anybody's contest on the day. And of course, after the slopestyle, we were able to look at our first team ranking. So let's have a look, coming into the halfpipe day, who is in the top spot.
All right, so in first, it's Team Carlos Garcia Knight, followed closely behind Team Shelley Gottlieb. Possum Tor has 3rd place right now with her team. In 4th, Team Christy Pryor. They are making a serious run for the top. 5th and 6th are taken by Team Ben Comer and Team Steffi Luxton, but that is sure to change after the halfpipe today, Henry.
That's right, and as you said, T-Bird, today is all about the halfpipe. We've got a 22-foot halfpipe here in Cadrona, ready to ride for the guys and girls. We've got 18 girls and 24 guys fighting out for that top spot for valuable team points and valuable TTR ranking points.
Absolutely, and we're going to take a look at the pipe itself. We have our on-snow correspondent, Jay Smith. He's up there. He's going to be up there all day checking in with you guys. Let's throw it up to Jay and see what the pipe's running like.
Thanks, guys. I'm Jay Smith, your local Kiwi Boy field reporter down here at the bottom of the pipe. And just giving you a bit of an update, we're going to see a lot of different types of weather today. Typical New Zealand, 4 seasons in one day. I'm sure we'll have a bit of fog, a bit of snow, and a bit of sun. But in general, the riders are stoked. The pipe's running well, and these guys have been boosting all morning in practice.
Well, thank you very much, Jay. An excellent review of what's going on up in the 22-foot halfpipe. Now, T-Bird, the comp's going down up there. You got a little bit about the format for the viewers out there?
Indeed, I do. So the men and the women are both going to get 2 runs. 0 to 100 points is how they're going to be scored. And for the men, top 15 get a 3rd run. So there will be a 1-run final. However, that's not a 1-run wins it final. If you do score lower in your 3rd run after making finals and your 2nd run score is higher, that's what sticks. So it's going to be best run counts. That's the format. We are set to get going any minute now, aren't we, Henry?
Well, yeah, the snow is coming in thick and fast at the moment. Bizarrely, 10 minutes ago we had Bluebird, and hopefully in 10 minutes we'll have Bluebird again.
Let's take a quick look at the top 3 women in the halfpipe finals. This is Hikari Ui from Japan, coming in with an 85.4. This was good enough for 3rd place.
And this was her first run score, which it made it all the more impressive because if you see, the conditions really came in for her first run. Heavy fog, and yet she put down a run good enough for 3rd place. And now this is Jutong Chai from China representing Nike. This was her 3rd and final run. She had a little wobble in the middle of the run, but was good enough on the day for 2nd place, finishing things off with that lovely nose grab. And the new darling face of women's halfpipe riding, Miss Chloe Kim, a 92.6. Check out how smooth this girl rides. Massive frontside 5, frontside grab. The McTwist, not many girls throwing that trick, into the inverted frontside 7. Again, Chloe putting this run down in quite adverse visibility conditions. Congratulations to 14-year-old Chloe Kim from the USA. All right, so the guys are about to get underway. Let's have a look at the start order. We've got Shuhei Sato dropping in first. Nick Baden, who did well in the slopestyle yesterday. Carl Mack, hopefully he's had his 3 coffees to G himself up. Cameron Stavely, Alexander Ostrang, Hogwang Ok, Tyler Nicholson, Carlos Garcia Knight, the winning team captain at the moment. So our first rider getting ready to drop in at the top of the pipe, Shuhei Sato from Asahikawa, Japan. Sorry about that. Riding for Sim Snowboards. Getting ready to drop in. Here we go. Our first rider from the guys at the Burton High Fives, presented by Mini, dropping in through slightly tricky conditions right now, but let's see how he goes. He's dropping in
switch, too, so he's coming in unnatural on his first frontside wall, and he goes cab 1080, super inverted, into a gigantic frontside 5. Look how far he's traveling down that pipe, into a backside 900. Shuhei Sato putting a run together into a frontside 900. And then the old heave-ho, a.k.a. the Michael Chuck, named after Canadian halfpipe pioneer Mike Michalchuk. Shuhei Sato putting down a really good first run.
Yeah, no holding back there in the Blizzard, T-Bird. None at all. That was a great first run. What do you think, mid-80s?
See, this is where it gets pretty tough for a judge, because he's the first rider to drop. I don't want to score him too high, because then if another rider comes in with an amazing run, they're going to be up in the 90s before you know it. So I'm going to say that run's going to score for the men mid-70s.
Okay, okay. And a good bit of explanation there about how the judges score. And, you know, there you go. Low 80s. Well, low 80s,
80.2.
you know.
I agree. And that's a really good first run score.
So next up, according to our start list, will be Mr. Seamus O'Connor, representing Ireland. Lives and resides in the US of A, however, an Irish national. His father is a brain surgeon. And he is indeed. And Seamus was the Irish representative at the Winter Olympic Games. Here he is now for his first run. He was unlucky in the slopestyle. He was riding so good, and he just couldn't put down his run. So hopefully he can step up to the pipe. Here we go, 16 years old, riding for Nike on course.
Flair,
tons of angle and smoke on course,
and showmanship.
Look at that!
Judged on execution and style. It's high-powered,
Tremendous run right here.
high-skilled, and high-speed entertainment.
Man, where there's smoke, there's fire.
Outdo, outperform, outmaneuver. Taking motorsport to the extreme. Formula Drift 2015 on Edge Sport. The biggest action sports festival is back in Malaysia, Langkawi for its second year.
You see the crowd behind me? They have come out in droves.
Packed with extreme entertainment.
Let's check out the beach.
Skateboard, BMX, wakeboard, inline skate and mountain bike. Catch up with the world's best athletes. Feast World Series Malaysia 2015 on Edge Sport. The race is on.
The great thing about Nations Cup is these guys that all race locally in their country can come compete on a world stage.
The tension is high.
Shakuri loses control of his boat, unable to keep it down. He goes flying and lands belly up.
A championship like no other.
Harvey clips his boat on those roughening conditions, and he barrel rolls out of the race.
Now I'm very confident, so hopefully we'll get a good scoring.
UIM Nations Cup powerboating on Edge Sport.
And Seamus is one of those kids. He is definitely a double threat.
He is indeed, yeah. Oh, sick crippler tailbone. Into a backside 5. Front 10 tail, yeah, landing that pretty clean. A little under rotate perhaps, and a cab 7 to finish things off. Hey, T-Bird.
Really good run from
Really
Seamus
good
O'Connor.
run. Had
really
the 10
good
in
run.
there, had the 7s, had amplitude, had style, and in these tricky conditions, what more could you ask for?
In my humble opinion, I would say that's a top 2 run for sure. So let's see what the
Yeah.
judges have to say from Seamus O'Connor. One of the cleanest runs we saw today. And although he may only be 16 years old, this kid is a veteran in the pipe scene. He's been doing it for a long time now. Represented Ireland in the Sochi Winter Olympics. He's a staple in the Burton Global Open Series. And soon enough, I bet we'll see him in the X Games.
Yeah,
And
why not? Let's get the Irish in there.
they're starting things off with a really nice method. Good style.
Look at that crippler.
He drops that front shoulder, gets a little inverted, and look at that front side 1080 tail grab, getting it around very easily, and the reason he was able to do so was amplitude. That is the key to pipe riding. 83.6, Seamus O'Connor is your new leader in the men's half pipe here at the Burton High Fives, presented by Mini.
Next rider to drop in will be Mr. Who is it going to be? Nathan Johnson now. If I look down, in my humble opinion, and again, I'm not an expert, but now we've had Nikita and Legion. I think we're starting to get more into the pipe riders, you know?
Yep.
If you look at the top end of the field, guys like Shuhei Sato rides pipe, but like Kyle Mack, Cameron Staveley, Alex Ostring, they're more slope who are going to have a go at the pipe and do it very well. But now we're starting to get into the field of guys who specifically train for pipe. Nathan Johnson, a former world champion from Australia, dropping in now. Here we go. This guy goes huge. He does these cab 7 Japans that are absolutely unbelievable. There you go. Massive amplitude on the 1080 on the first hit. Into, or was it a cab 10? Into a frontside 9.
That's right. He dropped in switch.
Yeah, backside 5 melon grab. And he's going to go frontside 10. Now we're going to see the cab 7 Japan. No, we're not. We're going to see it.
Switch alley-oop.
Switch alley-oop 360.
Really, really, really sick.
I can't recall ever seeing one of those.
No, and he might have just improv that. And who knows if that was actually in his run or if he just kind of threw it out there. But Nathan Johnstone mirroring Seamus O'Connor in amplitude, and he is stoked right now.
Yeah, thumbs up. He's obviously having a little bit of discourse there with Robert and our on-snow announcers. But yeah, representing Anon and Ripco, Nathan's got to be stoked after that, especially in these tricky conditions. Let's have a look at the replay. First hit, cab 10. I got that wrong. I said frontside 10. That's a cab 10 on your first hit. And the judges reward more for that because you're throwing a technical trick on your first hit. There's more risk. There's way more risk hitting that first hit and throwing in one of your most technical tricks. And it's, of course, good enough for first place. Nice one, Nathan Johnson. So he can, he can sit relatively happy at the moment and go up and improve on his second run.
The only Slovenian rider here in New Zealand competing, Tim Kevin Ravanja.
Yeah, that's right, TKR. He had a very solid run in the slopestyle, and he was saying he's not ridden it in ages. But he likes to focus on the halfpipe. He really does. He's a halfpipe rider. I hope I've not given him the commentator's kiss of death, but I think we're going to see something pretty special. He does switch backside spins in the pipe, which is ridiculous. So he's going to start things off with a cab 7. Is that cab 7? Sorry, frontside 7 into the cab 7. And he's going to go front 10. No, front 9, sorry. Oh, I'm just getting it all wrong.
No, you're on point. You're doing
I
well.
remember his old runs, you see. Backside 5 mute.
And these are paired
There's
down.
the front 10. There's the front 10. How smooth was that frontside 10, T-Bird?
Unbelievable. Tim Kevin Ravanja style beyond his years. He's
How old is he now? He's 17.
He's 17.
And I've been calling out his runs for years, like since he's like 10 or 11 years old.
Yeah.
And he's always been killing it. He's not one of these kids who you sort of see at a comp and you're like, oh, well, that kid's giving it a go. He's always been at the top level of his field. So.
Absolutely. So take a look at this frontside 1080.
Just drops out of it so easily, huh?
It's unbelievable if you think back to the days of, Terry Kidwell, Radden Pipe, and even like Todd Richards, Ross Powers, Gian Simon. Do you think they would ever get to the level where they're at today?
Yeah, no, without those who've gone before, you can't arrive at where you are now. So it's okay. It's I'm maybe a little bit underscored for me. All right, Mr. Jake Pates, getting ready to drop in.
Another rising star coming out of Eagle, Colorado. This is 16-year-old Jake Pates riding for Burton and Oakley. A very promising young pipe prospect in the United States. Jake Pates dropping in. Another little guy. He's small in stature, but he goes gigantic. So let's see how much this weather is starting to affect these guys. It looks to become...
Looks like it's clearing up a bit,
A little bit more clear. The visibility is quite a bit better than it was a few runs ago.
Goes to the Michael Chuck nose grab into the... Was that a double grab on that one?
Front 9 into a back 9.
Very nice. Crippler 7. And he's going to go into the cab. Cab 10.
Super inverted.
Cab 10 nose.
Grabbing nose. A good run from Jake Pates. Could have used a little more amplitude, but again, I think that pipe is slowing down a little bit with this fresh snowfall. Fresh snowfall, it's not detrimental to a pipe event, but it does slow the riders down a little bit, and it also creates a little more chatter in the flat bottom because these guys are traveling at extremely high speeds and trying to hold an edge that constantly wants to slip out from underneath them.
Yeah, and if we look at the total comfort replay, we have that cab 1080. Again, like you said, the amplitude suffering maybe due to that snowfall, but a very technical run.
I'm going to say that's going to be a top 5 run for Jake Pates.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's top 3 right now, but he's got a score on the board. It's a mental thing. He's a seasoned competitor at only 16 years old, and I think he just wants to see a decent score on the board, and then for his second run, whether or not it's his final run, he's going to step it up regardless. There it is, 78.6.
Yeah. Hey, top 5, you called it, T-Bird, just nestling in there behind Tim Kevin Ravanja for 4th place, so that's not bad. Top 5 as it stands, and look, the weather is coming good.
That's right. And
it's funny because we see Jake's at the bottom of the pipe and it's snowing, and we're at the top of the pipe now and it's completely clear. So
maybe that sun will pop out here for Ryo Iono.
That would be pretty sick.
Set to drop in right now.
Well, if it doesn't, I know it will for the next rider because Ryo is going to go so high and he spins so much he's going to blow the clouds away. Oh yeah? Just you watch. Here we go.
Right, Ryo dropping in switch, starting things off with a cab 720.
Keeping it mellow to begin things.
Into a frontside 900. And then a big old backside 5 mute grab. And here he comes with a huge frontside 1080. I didn't see him get a grab there, and ending things off with a Hawken flip, an inverted Cab 720, invented by the greatest snowboarder, in my opinion, who's ever lived, Terry A. Hawkinson.
Yeah, he's not bad. He's not bad, that's for sure. And he's, yep, hack and flip, a staple diet in people's half-pipe runs. And if we were to criticize Ryo, it's something that has, you know, here we go, there is that 10. I think, was that the 10? He gets, it's a tickle. It's a touch, you know, and I think that's the only thing you can find to criticize Ryo about. His amplitude is amazing. He spins super smooth. He's got real technical tricks, but occasionally he doesn't get that grab.
Let's see where Ryo Iono's score is going to come in. Judges deliberating 80.8, good for third place, and I agree with that. I think the amplitude was there. It was some of the highest hits we've seen all day, but Ryo's got to get those grabs. We're going to take a quick look right now at Burton's new series titled Burton Presents, and this one features Norwegian rider Alec Ostring.
My name is Alec Ostring. I'm 23 years old and I'm from Oslo, Norway. Balancing between filming and doing contests is a good way to spend your winter because you get the best of both worlds. And I think if you just do contests and just ride park every day, it gets a little stale. So it's good to get out and go filming, and you work with competing with yourself and not with everyone else. Doing the contest tour, you get to ride good parks, you get to ride with a lot of good riders. It's definitely like a good vibe. You kind of plan your riding in contest more towards what the judges want to see and what, you know, people expect. What's cool about filming is just you can go out with your friends and try to get the shot that you have in mind, and you're working towards that, and your friends is doing the same, and you're all just feeding off each other's energy, and I think that's the rad thing about filming. This winter, Mark Solers and Zach Hale came to my town outside Oslo to film for the new Burton Presents web series. It's cool to be home and be able to go film at the same time. I really like going on trips, but it was definitely cool to have, you know, the Burton guys come and hang out in my hometown and show them around.
Oh! That was Norwegian Burton rider Alec Ostring. Now we're going to head back to the top of the pipe for the final rider in the men's halfpipe, China's Yiwei Zhang.
Now this guy was one of the standouts for me in the Olympic Games.
He goes massive.
Massive, and he's an incredibly technical rider. It's Yiwei Zhang getting ready to drop in. Here we go, representing Nike and Burton.
He's one of those new kind of waves of kids that you can tell they've trained on trampolines and into airbags. He is so aware of where he is in the air. Let's see what he's got here, starting things off with a big old frontside 1080. And yes, Henry, we have gotten into those pipe riders. Cab double cork 1080.
First double of the day.
Into a double crippler, the first two doubles of the day, and they're back to back into a backside 5. Cool rotation on that. And then into a frontside 1080 double cork. Yiwei Zhang putting it down, and without a doubt, I'm calling that as a first place run. The question is, how high will the score go? Will it be into the 90s?
Did it just get breezy in here, T-Bird? Because I think he just blew the doors off our cabin.
Yes, he did. Yiwei Zhang showing up and telling everyone that he is here to play. So 3 double corks in one run. I guess you could say triple double corks.
Triple trouble. Wow.
I like that the simple tricks he does too. That backside 5 had a unique rotation on it.
I can't find much fault with that run there, T-Bird. He got his grabs, he had amplitude, he had style.
Will it be in the 90s?
I think it's going to have to be in the 90s, T-Bird.
I think that's the run
I'm going to
to
say
beat.
Low to mid-90s. I don't think they can go much higher. There you go, 91 points, and I agree with that 100%. That
Absolutely.
was a great run.
Absolutely. Congratulations to Yiwei Zhang. Let's check out the results. It was the best of 15 pipe riders in the world, and number 1 is currently the best. Yiwei Zhang out of China, scoring a 91. Seamus O'Connor representing Ireland with a 90.6, good for second place. And Aussie Nathan Johnstone coming in with an 88.6. He rounds out the podium, but don't forget the rest of the guys. They rode incredible.
I think we have a first place for Team Carlos Garcia Knight. Oh, Christy Pye was nipping at the heels for the whole way, But officially, Team Carlos Garcia Knight will take home the $70,000 prize.